Welcome and thank you for joining us for Inside Cottonwood today. I'm your host, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. And today we're going to be talking a lot about what's coming up this summer, and we've identified things that are going on in summertime, especially like Tilted Earth, and during the hot months, even here in Cottonwood, we have a lot going on. And so I wanted to expressly kind of come out and identify, hey, we've got farmers market as well, and we're going to be going into the farmers market quite a bit today, kind of as a one of our well-established programs here in the city of Cottonwood. And with us today are Jack Teal, and Jack is our recreation coordinator over sports and special events programming. Welcome, Jack, as well as we also have Chef Wayne Dudley, and with Wayne's Creations. And Wayne, we're going to be talking a little bit more about, Chef Wayne and Wayne's Creations and things of that nature, and how you got started with the farmers market and Jamboree here in Cottonwood, and what else you do, because I know that you also get involved in a lot of other farmers markets throughout the Verde Valley, which is really a neat thing on your behalf. So we'll be going through some of that as well, but I wanted to start things off and welcome you guys. But Jack, tell us right off the bat here, as it pertains to the farmers market, how long has this been a Parks and Recreation venue?
The market itself was comprised from two different events. We used to have music in the park, and then we had a farmers market. And in 2006, the Park and Recreation Department sort of took it over, blended them together, and that's when the farmers market and Jamboree was sort of created, if you will.
And I know that was one of the things I remember, that there was an awful lot that went out right off of it was right off the parking lot of the grill, and there was a lot going on, but it was really packed and crowded. But so that's part of what transpired then, is we took that over and moved it over then to the special event park area behind City Hall. That's correct, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, so what is our main goal in providing such a program to the public, and why do we do this?
So what we really try to do with this program is we try to cultivate just a nice community gathering that's going to help promote a healthy lifestyle, help promote our local farmers, and keep things local. A lot of people tend to go to the grocery stores to get some of the things that we have local farmers that produce fantastic produce for them. Pierre's Prime Beef has fantastic beef and things like that. So we just try to promote a healthy lifestyle, come out to the park, have a good time, listen to live music. It's a jamboree, it's a party.
So are there any changes in store from this year versus last year?
A little bit. So this year we went down, we got certified for the Arizona Nutritional Program. So we are certified farmers market. Now we can accept SNAP cards, we can accept EBT, we can accept WIC, things like that. We were getting in that a little bit last year, but this year we went through all the trainings. We went down there, we got certified through the Phoenix branch. So now we are 100% approved to sell through WIC. We're 100% approved to take EBT, the SNAP cards, all the benefits and things like that.
Now, what's EBT?
EBT is the electronic benefits. It's the food stamp program.
Okay.
The SNAP card program.
Great.
So if you're coming out, you're wanting some fresh produce, you're wanting some tomatoes, you're wanting things like that, come on down to the market, pick them up using your program benefits.
That's great. So that actually helps people who can't afford sometimes some of those, the benefits of the vegetables and fruits and things of that nature. So it really helps out an awful lot there.
Absolutely. In Arizona, I believe there's something like $12 million that goes out to farmers markets and benefits for produce. So it helps open us up to a bigger community of people who can now shop at our market.
So our first program is July 9th, correct?
July 9th, coming up next week.
And this is on Thursday nights.
Yes.
And why is it that we started holding these on Thursday nights?
So in our area, there's a ton of different farmers markets, and Thursday is kind of one of the days that need one filled in. So we picked Thursday nights. It works well with the rest of our programming that we have, and it works well with the rest of the other farmers markets to go in town. So we're not competing markets. We want everybody to come out and go to the local markets, support them everywhere in the area, whether you're in Camp Verde, whether you're in Cornville, whether you're in Cottonwood. We want to make sure we're not fighting over those times and that everybody's able to go out and enjoy their markets.
That's great. So people in the Verde Valley have the opportunity, as well as in Cottonwood, to then go to Cornville's, which is on what day?
Cornville's Monday nights.
Monday nights. And then Camp Verde's is Saturdays?
Yeah, Saturday mornings for Camp
And ours
Verde.
is Thursdays. So tell us location.
We're down in the Old Town Activities Park, right there behind City Hall. If I'm going off a landmark, I'm going to say we're located directly behind the basketball courts in Old Town. Not a lot of people know about the park. Right outside the old Boys and Girls Club building. fantastic little park, great location for this event.
It really is, and I know that that's one of the things we've done. It's also where we run our fall carnival for the children of our area, for Cottonwood and the Verde Valley. We have a lot of kids that come to that program as well. You know, as we look at the Thursday night program, July 9th, and tell us what is the entertainment this year coming up, and give us an idea of, you know, how long we run this program.
So I'm very satisfied with the entertainment lineup this year. It was a nice, long, hard haul getting them all signed up and ready to go, but we got 13 fantastic bands coming in starting July 9th.
You can see it on the TV, the screen there, so go ahead.
Yeah. So, some of the ones I'm super excited for is Lori McDonald always pulls a big crowd. She's gonna be our closer. We picked her to be the closer. She always brings a big crowd, and it gets everybody excited for next year's event. The Knockabouts, Flagstaff's big Irish band's coming down this year for us.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we got a couple bands from Tucson. The Knockabouts are gonna be here on September 10th, and then August 6th we got Test coming over. They're a local rock band coming in, so we're trying to diversify the genre of music a little bit.
Great.
Get something in there for everybody. The Gozers are coming down from Tucson, July 23rd. We got bands from all over the state. We tried to keep it all local, but we do even have the Rudy Boy Experiment on August 27th, who's coming in from New Mexico. So it's really a diverse lineup this year.
And I wanted to make sure, as we take a look at what was up on the screen, our co-sponsor in the program is State Farm.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about what they've done and how they're helping us and what they've done in the past.
So Jennifer Griffin, our local State Farm agent here in town, she has been fantastic. She is very community-oriented, very family-friendly, trying to get in and help us out in any family-oriented event. She has really helped to come on board as a very great sponsor. She's helped out in magnitudes of things. The Farmers Market, she was the major sponsor, so the reason we're able to get such a great lineup this year is she came on as a major sponsor and is helping to cover the cost for every single one of the bands.
Okay.
She's helped out with so many other things in our events. Can't thank her enough for everything that she's done for us and in the community.
Well, I know she's also online for helping co-sponsor even the July 4th program that's coming up this week. But she is really incredible. She has really stepped up in a lot of our programs, and that's where we also identify to many people, if you're interested in helping co-sponsor any of our programs, and we can actually get your name identified up on, you know, I guess everything from screen, you know, we do Inside Cottonwood, but we also do it on all of our flyers, our bulletins, our brochures, and then also we do it through radio advertising. So we do all of those things for sponsors, and it's a great opportunity.
Absolutely. We try to make it as beneficial for the sponsor as it is for us.
So is there any other investment, you know, for the sponsors that they can expect?
Yeah, so the sponsors, a lot of them, and Jennifer is on board for doing this too. She's going to come down, she's going to set up her booth, she's going to be sitting there handing out information, engaging the community, seeing if there's anything else that she can do to help back in the community. A lot of the sponsors, they get, like you said already, they get put on all of our posters, so you get all that name recognition, you're getting your logo out there, you're getting it out into the community, you get those radio ads, you get your name out there when we come on to Inside Cottonwood, things like that. So they're able to expect a lot of really cool different things that maybe your typical marketing avenues, you don't go down that path like we do.
So that's great. That's a good opportunity for everybody. It's a win-win situation, and especially with the farmers market. And we're going to go ahead and take a 1-minute break, and we'll be closing down our first segment here. Going into the second segment afterwards, we'll be talking directly with Chef Wayne Dudley and Wayne's Creations and how he also works within the context of our farmers market. So thank you for joining us for Inside Cottonwood. We'll be back in a moment.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids, this isn't a drill.
Please.
please.
Do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Hi, and welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. I've got a great opportunity as I introduce Chef Wayne Dudley of Wayne's Creations. And Chef Wayne, thank you for being with us today. We deeply appreciate it. It's really interesting as we take a lot of looks back at TV and where TV's gone with chefs and today's world. And it's really an incredible thing because people are very interested in, of course, definitely eating, but they also like palatable foods. And so it's rather a great concept that you come on board with us. And I know a little bit about Wayne's Creations, but I'd like you to explain maybe a little bit more about yourself and about what you represent here, and we'll get into a little bit more about the farmers market here in a moment. But thanks for being with us today, Wayne, and tell us about Wayne's Creations.
Well, it's a home-based business that, with the hot dog cart, we have to have commissary kitchens and everything. But I do fresh baked goods, and I do breads and pastries, and then this past year I added a hot dog cart to that, and I've been doing some gourmet hot dogs, and just me and my wife run it together.
So it's a joint atmosphere with both you and your wife. And so now, how long have you been coming to the Cottonwood Farmers Market?
This will be my 7th year.
7th year. And now, one of the things I know is you do go to the other farmers markets in the area. So you do actually hit both Cornville, Camp Verde, and Cottonwood. And so you actually have quite a following, because I know that I've been on Facebook and I've actually seen you, and the comments that people make are they're great. So you make the Cadillac of hot dogs, it seems like, and so you really get into that, as well as your baked goods. And I was looking also is the aspect of your creativity, and then also your delightful cuisine. And so it's kind of an interesting thing. So what is it that you find so interesting about farmers markets, and especially the Cottonwood one?
I like farmers markets because obviously there's fresh food there, and if I decide I want to do something next week, I just pick it up now, and then that's on the menu next week, and you never know what it's going to be, because I just get creative with anything. But I like the farmers markets because you're out in the public eye. You're not stuck behind a door to a kitchen in some restaurant somewhere, and nobody even knows who you are. And when you're selling your goods there, people get to see and talk to you personally. And if they have any questions, you have the answers.
Right.
You don't have to go, oh, well, let me see what's on the label on that in the back stock room. It's my stuff. I can tell you straight up what's in it.
That's great. Now, it was rather interesting because last night I've got a cold of some sort, and it was keeping me up. So I was watching Beat Bobby Flay for last night, and they had an actual restaurant owner who was also a cook and a chef, and then they also had a catering chef, and they went head to head. And the one thing he surprised me with was, as they were talking about who they are at the very beginning, he had indicated that very specifically. He said the difference between a restaurant chef and then a catering chef is catering chefs take a more personal aspect of things, and how they actually do a creation personally and get it out then to the public, and they're able to talk with people. So that's exactly what you just said. It was rather curious. So you catering chefs must all get together and have this. Okay, this is what we say. But have you ever participated in any type of a culinary type of competition before?
No, I have not. But I'll take on.
Love it. Huh?
I will take on anybody, even if it's Bobby Flay.
That's right. There you go. I think that's fantastic. But I really enjoy the personal aspect of it, both you and your wife together working in this. And so that is, it's incredible to see businesses come through, especially for our farmers market program. Now, Now, the Verde Valley is a special place to enjoy these venues, including agricultural crops, the farm fresh eggs, the organic beef that Jack talked about, especially as they bring their beef. Tell us a bit what types of food in your menu you'll be providing at the Cottonwood Farmers Market.
Well, I always have my breads. I do. Every week I have 6 flavors that I start with, and usually within the first hour I'm down to like 3, but you know, it's first come, first serve. And then I do my cinnamon rolls, and this year I'll be adding the hot dog cart to it. So every week it'll be something different, and I don't want to spoil anything right off because I don't know what I'm going to do the first week.
Okay.
But I do know that sometime throughout the year I will be doing my BLT dog, which is bacon, lettuce, and tomato with an avocado mayonnaise.
Whoa, that sounds good.
It's delicious.
Yes.
I even impressed myself.
Now, I saw on Facebook that you also have Inferno breads and ghost pepper breads and things of that nature. Is that something that you enjoyed doing as well in your baking?
Oh, absolutely. I had a guy that requested the hottest bread I could make him.
Oh, my goodness.
And so that's when I did the Inferno bread, and it had ghost peppers in it. And he bought a loaf and absolutely loved it and posted on Facebook about it. And I told him, I said, if I make this, you're going to have to buy all 3 loaves because a batch makes 3 loaves.
Right.
And by the time he got there, I'd already sold 2, so he was safe and only had to buy 1.
Yeah. That's awesome. Chef Wayne, so tell us about how long you've been in business in the Verde Valley and your catering business. So give us some information about that.
Well, in 2009, I took over the little cafe that's in front of Old Town Center for the Arts.
Oh, okay.
And I lasted 1.5 years there. It was La Bella Cafe. And then the economy just put us out of business, and I started doing the breads and baked goods at the farmers markets, and I was actually with the restaurant. I started going to the Cottonwood Farmers Market even when I had the restaurant with some canned goods that I had made in the restaurant for people.
Okay.
So that's how I got started with the Cottonwood Market.
That's awesome. So now, your gourmet hot dogs, and you also have a bacon asparagus dog I was reading about.
I'll have that out sometime this year.
You're going to have that out sometime also. Okay, that'll be an interesting one.
I do a little feta cheese on top of that one.
Okay, all right, that sounds good because I understand some of the cheeses that you were doing, and there was a lot that was being written about that, specifically about the variety of different cheeses as well. Mm-hmm. So that's great. So that's a good thing. So what else does Wayne's Creations sell?
The breads, pastries, we do the hot dogs, and that's about where we're at right now. But as time goes on and I can get more stuff through the health department, eventually we'll do more. I'd love to do a full food cart someday.
That'd be great. I know that the city of Cottonwood has also authorized a lot of different food carts to be working throughout the Cottonwood area, so that would be really kind of neat for you to get your catering license in that context of things as well. So
exactly.
That'd be great. So, so what sparked this idea, some time ago with you and your wife?
For the bread?
Yes.
It all started out with when we lost the restaurant, we went to work at a friend's soap factory, and I didn't stay there long, but they opened it up for the home cottage law so that you could do baked goods from home. And I never wanted to do baked goods, I'll be honest, never wanted to do them, but it's money, and I had to feed the family.
Sure.
So I went out and spent $20 on some flour and made like 4 flavors of bread, went to the Cottonwood Farmers Market that Thursday, and spent $20 and went home with $150.
That's great.
I was like, this works.
Yes. Well, people do. They're delighted with your baked goods, your breads especially. That's one of the things that the farmers market has a notoriety for, and we're going to continue those types of programs with the city of Cottonwood. I just want to thank you again for joining us in this segment of Inside Cottonwood. We'll be back here in a minute talking a little bit more with Jack Teal, the Parks and Recreation Coordinator for Special Events and Programs, and we'll join back here in just a moment. But thank you for joining us.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Millions of people are affected by disaster in America. And we're right there, providing food. With more than 200 food banks, reaching communities all across America. Donate now for immediate relief and long-term recovery. Every dollar helps provide food for disaster victims. Help now at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to our final segment of Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the city. And again, we're talking about the farmers market, and we'll get into a little bit more in depth as to how things actually work in the process of the farmers market with Jack Teal. Jack, how many vendors do we typically have at the farmers market?
Any given day, you'll have anywhere between 35 to 52. Really depends on what that weather looks like. A lot of the specialty crafts, like the woodworking crafts, the paintings and things like that, they kind of hold out to see what the weather's going to do. But on any given day, you're looking at 35 to 52 vendors.
Wow. And so we have enough spots for those vendors then?
Yeah, so right now the way that our layout is, we can accommodate 52 vendors in the layout. We obviously have a little bit more room for growth. We can line people up over by the stage if we need to. And there's been a couple times to where we've had to extend that layout a little bit. But 52 is right now what our layout is set for.
Now, speaking of weather, have you guys ever closed one down because of the monsoons?
Typically, by the time we get ready to close, people are already all gone. They're faster to leave than we are faster to close when it comes to that.
Okay, because I know that the monsoons definitely are this time of the year, and it's definitely building again out there. But and they affect us all the way through September. It's just kind of one of those things I was wondering. But the nice thing about it is the cloud cover makes it really an advantageous situation for us and for those people who are joining us at the farmers market. So. How would I register if I was interested in the market, and what are the costs?
So you can register a couple different ways. We have our registration form online. You can find that at cottonwoodaz.gov. You'll look under the special events. You'll see the farmers market, and it has all that information there for you. Or you can swing by the Cottonwood Recreation Center on 6th Street and grab the registration form there. You'll fill it out. You can either drop it back off at the front desk of the Recreation Center or bring it with you to the event. It's a $5 one-time business registration fee and then $5 daily spot fee at there, or you can pay $100, secure your spot for the entire season, and be good that way. If you're an agricultural vendor, that means if you're selling fresh produce, if you're selling the beefs, things like that, it's 100% free for you. You just fill out the registration form, you turn it in, you're good to go. There's no one-time business registration, there's no vendor fees, so 100% free if you're an ag vendor.
That's awesome. So what time do most vendors set up, and what time are they usually there?
So vendor setup is anywhere from 3:30 to 5. We'll open it up 3:30, sometimes a little bit earlier than that, depending on what our day looks like. But 3:30 to 5 is going to be your typical vendor setup.
And the duration, actually, the time that you start, the time you finish with each one of the programs?
So the program is set up to go from 5 p.m. till dark, but because we don't have our 5 p.m. till night, but because we don't have any on-site lighting or things like that, we kind of go 5 p.m. till dark. Whenever that sun goes down, that's kind of our ringing bell, and when we know it's time to get everything torn down and go home for the night.
So it's kind of an exciting scenario. To explain to us, exactly what the atmosphere is like down there. When you guys are really up and running, and you got the Jamboree going on, and you got people down there. What is it like?
Oh, it's great. When the market is at its peak, there's nothing better. You got the community out there. You got people gathering, you got people dancing, you got people buying from your local vendors, supporting the local community. You got people like Chef Wayne out there slinging hot dogs and slinging his bread. I mean, I've had some of his pizza bread and some of his breakfast breads and things like that, and they don't last long. So when that market is at its peak, the vendors are doing great, the crowd is great, the band's performing great, everything's going good. It's a fun time out there.
It is a fun time, and some of the things like you just said, I mean, I've gone down even for just the produce, and I've gotten usually the last jar of whatever, you know, I mean, even between pickles or anything else I try to get, seems like I'm right there, and if you don't get there early sometimes, you know, you're kind of out of luck, because people really go through and they enjoy the farmers market and they buy.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
that's pretty much it. But the atmosphere really is, it's a very agreeable atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. You're walking, you're taking your time, and it's really kind of cool. And again, you know, you get to meet you guys, and that's pretty neat too. So how many people typically show up at these Thursday night programs?
You're looking anywhere between 500 to 600 people when it's at its peak. Again, when you're getting some of that weather, you'll see it dwindle down a little bit. Typically, we never get below 300 people coming in and out of those gates.
Now, I was talking about, you know, buying pickles and jarred and stuff like that. What else can you expect as it pertains to agricultural items?
There's a lot of stuff. Depending on what is in season during the market, people will bring apples. Peaches are huge in the beginning of the season. People are always out there with peaches, things like that. You get some fruit. You get some pears, melons, things like that. You'll get a lot of produce, a lot of tomatoes. You can buy your onions, you can buy cabbage, you can buy lettuce. All those things that you're looking for, specialty people sometimes will bring in. I've seen some asparagus there. Obviously,
especially on the hot dogs.
Yeah, so some things are a little bit harder to grow during the summer months out here, but anything that you can get in the store, typically we have it down there at the market.
So that's one of the reasons why we actually we start the farmers market about the first week of July, because produce starts actually starting to creep in by that time period.
Yeah.
I mean, you can actually drive around, you can see the peach trees, the apricot trees, the plums, and some apple and pear and things of that nature. You know, but as July creeps through and the monsoons hit, there's a lot more produce, and then by August and September you start seeing the melons and everything starting to come out.
Yeah.
And especially by that last day of October 1st, that's when you're going to see a lot of them, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So that's one of the nice varieties about the farmers market, is you can expect anything at any time.
Absolutely.
And, while at the market, what else is there to do or see while I'm in Old Town Cottonwood?
You know, aside from the things that are going on in the market, Old Town always has stuff going on. Fantastic restaurants down there. It's a huge wine hub now for the Verde Valley. So there's tons of wine tasting, tons of restaurants, tons of knick-knack shops, a lot of antique shops, things like that. It's a blast no matter what time of day it is down there in Old Town.
Well, I know, and people also indicate that there's never enough parking down there.
Yeah.
But that was actually expressed like 3 to 4 years ago. And tell us a little bit now. Things have progressed. There's parking area all over Old Town now.
Yeah, there's a lot of public parking down there now. We've built, just in the past 5 or 6 years here in the city, they've put up 2 public parking spots down there. You got one down there by the tea shop, the old jail house. They just finished that one up. Looks fantastic. You got another one over there by where the old Orion Bread Company is, right back behind there. And then, of course, they just did that parking lot right there at the Civic Center.
Exactly.
Right next to the market that they started on that. And hopefully a few years down the road we might be able to finish that project off. But
yes,
parking situation has only gotten better. It's a little bit easier. We're still limited with the space we have down there, but it is trending upwards for us.
That's great. My last question is, why doesn't the farmers market go later into the year and run past dark?
Aside from a lot of the other programs and things that we have on, a lot of our programs here, and there's literally no days in between. For me, softball ended last night. I jumped straight into farmers market Thursday.
There you go, yeah.
So aside from that aspect of it, you start getting it a little bit cold. We're outside. We're in an uncontrolled environment. You never know what the weather's going to do. Once that sun drops down in October, it gets brisk out there, and it gets brisk fast out there.
It does.
And then you'll start seeing some of those produces die off once we start getting those first freezes and things like that. And if you've ever walked around during Halloween time, you know just how cold it'll get during the night.
Definitely so. Well, hopefully this Inside Cottonwood has brought a little bit more information specifically to you as it pertains to farmers market. And Thursday nights are the optimum, through the summertime. Come down and enjoy because you get the music from the Jamboree. You also can walk around, see the produce. You can buy. You just take a look at everything. So I wanted to thank you for joining us for Inside Cottonwood. I also wanted to take the time to thank Wayne's Creations and Wayne Dudley for being here. Thank you, Chef. And as well as Jack Teal. And Jack, thank you for everything you do for Parks and Recreation and serving the city of Cottonwood. Again, I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the city of Cottonwood. Have a great day.